Welcome to my Mortal Kombat X tutorial series. I wanted to make this in order to prep players for Mortal Kombat 11. I believe many people don't properly enjoy a fighting game because they don't see the depth to it. Tournament players understand this, but from the casual perspective, they don't. You know, this guide is going to be for that guy in ranked match that thinks he's really good, but then when he plays a top player, kind of gets destroyed. Or this could even be for brand new players that never even touched a fighting game. You know, you played the tutorial, you think it's cool, or like you watched EVO one week and, you know, you wanted to play with those players. You were wondering, how the hell do they do all these things? You know, what are footsies? What is neutral? You know, why does my spacing matter? What's frame data? I don't know any of this stuff. Well, that's why I'm making this. That being said, this video is going to be beginner concepts. So, let's get started. Instead of having to translate what button you press on controllers if you play on separate consoles, for example, if I say X on PlayStation, that's completely different from Xbox. So to eliminate that, the community uses numbers instead. So I'll put them up on the screen as well. The number 1 corresponds to the front punch, which is square on PlayStation and X on Xbox. 2 refers to back punch, which is triangle on PlayStation and Y on Xbox. 3 refers to X on PlayStation and A on Xbox. And 4 corresponds to the back kick, which is circle on PlayStation and B on Xbox. Now that we got that out of the way, we can go over some game mechanics. I'm going to assume everyone played the basic tutorial, so you at least know how to move, jump around, and like how to throw, how to do special moves and enhanced moves, but I'm going to cover some important parts of NRS games. So some strings allow you to do a special move after it, whereas others don't, and you have to cancel the string early. For example, the string 214. Okay. Now, the end of it, you can do a teleport and continue the combo. Strings like back 3, 2, forward 2, such as seen there, if you try to special cancel after it, nothing comes out. So you can't combo off the end of that. You can't even combo off the second hit of that either. As you see, I'm trying to cancel into teleport. But you can combo off of just back 3. Which is good for Scorpion because that's his low starter. So you'd go into a safe starter like this. Something like that. Now this is dated back to the original MK games, basic juggle combos. So everyone has a universal juggle, which is their neutral jump punch, which is done by jumping directly up, hence neutral jump, not forward or back. It's jumping up and doing one of the punch buttons. Certain characters have different hitboxes on it, such as like Raiden and Scorpion and Takeda. They're among some of the best in the game. So that's a natural juggler, so you can, you know, combo off it, do whatever. Some characters have better juggle potential, but, you know, that depends who you play. Like, right here, Scorpion, he has unique normals in this variation. His back 2 and his forward 2. His back 2 is a half-screen normal that allows you to juggle combo them for pretty good damage. Now that we have juggles out of the way, we can explain bread and butter combos. Bread and butter combos, also referred to as BNBs, are your go-to combos that you should master with the character that you play. You can find all of your characters' BNBs through various guides on YouTube, and testyourmight.com is what I recommend. They have forums for every character there. Let's check out some example BNBs with notation. Some combos can only be done in the corner. There are combos that are only applicable mid-screen or are more useful mid-screen. Some combos can only be done using a bar of your meter.
Gotcha.
Some characters require run cancels or dash cancels in order to do their combos, resulting in higher execution barriers. This is a situation in which your opponent is forced to block either an overhead or a low, and it's essentially a guess on their end. For Raiden's sake, like let's say we comboed them, right? We put them in a situation where they're forced to block. Like for right now, they're in enough hit stun to where they are forced to block the follow-up. So off of this situation, they have to block an overhead or a low. So we can just keep mixing them up with the low. Branching off of the 50-50 concept, this is almost a 50-50 in itself, because in order to tech the throws, you have to press the corresponding buttons. If you think someone's going to do a forward throw, in that animation where you get grabbed, you must press 2 to tech it. If you think someone's going to press a back throw, you must press 1 to tech it. So make sure you have that concept down, because it's really important in this game. What high level players do though, instead of, you know, risking teching the wrong way, if they know a throw is coming, all you have to do is neutral duck. If you crouch block, the throw will still hit you, but if you neutral duck, it will not. Command throws provide a unique ability to grapplers that's called a tick throw. A tick throw is essentially when you do a poke or a string into a command grab and it works on block, making this extremely dangerous for the person blocking. Now you may wonder why that's so scary when characters like Jason have built-in command grabs and strings like that. Well, that's because they can get huge damage off of you just blocking, so you do absolutely nothing wrong and get punished for it essentially. But there are ways around it. There are multiple ways out of a tick throw. You can jump out, for instance, which may allow you to punish. If your character has a really good neutral jump punch like Raiden or something, you can punish it. You can also backdash tick throws. And you can also armor tick throws.
On your knees.
So you may wonder, oh well, my opponent can jump from half screen and full combo me. What can I do against that? Well, we're going to go over a concept called anti-airing, which is all about getting your opponent out of the air and punishing them for trying to jump at you. Let's go over a few ways that you can do this. Some special moves are designed specifically to anti-air. For most characters, a jab or something similar will work too. Or go back to MK1 basics. Combo breakers are a feature that let you get out of a combo for the cost of resources. In MKX, it costs 2 bars of super meter and 2 bars of stamina to get out of a combo and break, such as right there. For characters that rely on running for combos or run cancels, that could be fatal losing that stamina, so armoring out could be a better alternative to get out of the corner. Many strings in MKX have gaps in them in which you can exploit to punish the opponent or get out of pressure. Like right here, we're going to see Johnny Cage beats Cassie's poke out right there because of his plus frames. So, what can Cassie do against that? She can armor out. But you can get punished, so just be wary of your options. Cassie has a string in this gap, so we're going to look at ways to beat it. You can, you know, backdash out, or you could armor. Choice is yours, just be careful of resources. Such as right here, you cannot backdash without stamina, so always factor that into your decision making. Okay, to get a basic understanding of frame data, I'm going to go through this really fast and I won't be discussing all of it. If you want to see more about this, I'll have a link in the description to an advanced tutorial. But for now, we are only going to focus on startup frames, the block advantage, and the hit advantage. So frame data is information about the exact duration that an attack move spends in different phases. I'll break down the three important ones right now, but really quickly, there are 60 frames in a second. So that's how these are measured. So the startup of this move is 9 frames. So it takes 9/60ths of a second for this move to come out. Okay, we have our startup frames. These are important because it tells you how fast your move comes out. So Johnny Cage's straight punch comes out in 9 frames. That's relatively average. His fastest attack is going to be his down 3, which comes out in 7 frames. So that is the fastest attack he can do, which means that's his fastest punish. Block advantage shows the number of frames that you have in which you can act before your opponent leaves their block stun. So for example, this is +2 on block, right? We see the +2 number. That's positive. Whereas there will be a negative if it's negative. So if we look at this string 114, that is plus on block. So if I press any move, it's going to come out 2 frames faster than the opponent. Whereas here, this is -23 on block. So anything I press is going to come out 23 frames slower than the opponent. Now this is important because this is how you determine what moves are punishable and what aren't. So if you look, I'm gonna nut punch Liu Kang, and then I'm going to do the string that is -23 on block. And look how much faster Liu Kang can move before me. So here we go. So nut punch, 113, and I'm holding up. You see how much slower that was jumping? I'll do it again. So on block, he can jump way before I can, which means he can punish me. Okay, he goes to crouch block. So this is important because Johnny Cage's main go-to tool is forward 3 is not fast enough to punish this, which is how he gets the most damage off his combos. So you can't use that as a reliable punisher because it doesn't come out fast enough. But Johnny's got a 9-frame jab, which you can combo. As you see there. So that just goes to show that sometimes you have to change up your punishers depending on the strings that your opponents do, so you can get more damage rather than, missing your punish. Okay, and for hit advantage, I am showing this because this is +30 on hit. Minus you, it's -21 on block, which means it's punishable. So if the opponent blocks this, I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to get punished. But on hit, it has +30 hit advantage, which means I have 30 frames to act and do whatever I want. I'm going to show this by setting Liu Kang to automatically jump. I'm going to nut punch him, and then I'm going to hold up and watch how much faster I can jump before he's able to move. So right there is a perfect example of how frame advantage works. I have all that time. Despite that frame advantage, it will not let you combo off that because that would be really busted. But that means that Liu Kang's only option there is to respect whatever button I press next, so he is forced to block, which is important. That's why frame data is important. Johnny Cage is the absolute scrub killer because you could just keep doing moves into nut punch, and if they mash buttons, the hit advantage is too great for them to be able to mash out, so they have to block. Johnny Cage's EX force balls are around +5 or 6 on block due to the pushback. So that means his 11-frame forward 3, which is a popular follow-up, would only be coming out in 6 frames. Because if you do 11 startup frames minus 5 frames on block, you're really, you know, your move's technically coming out in 6 frames if you want to think of it like that. So that means the best Liu Kang can do is look at his fastest startup move, which is 6 frames, and that would be able to trade with the attack. But that is really risky to do because Johnny can full combo if you aren't frame perfect. So your best option is to armor out. So if we look at this in action, I'm going to try to poke out with a 7 frame move, try to trade with this, and then show armoring out is probably the best solution, or just hold the pressure. Right there, I mashed and it did not work. Still mashed, it did not work. The best way to get out of this is probably to just armor out. Or you can backdash, but you have to be careful of his cancel abilities. That's specific to A-list, but, you know.